we're going to talk about Ethereum. Ethereum merge. The people, they want to know. They're searching peak interest as registered by Google Trends about the merge of Ethereum from proof of work to proof of stake. Now, some market observers say this interest may be pushing Ethereum prices higher. You're seeing that chart right now, almost 3,400 for one ETH. A lot of activity going on in the Ethereum space as always, but perhaps the biggest thing in Ethereum land these days is the transition from the energy-intensive proof of work mining to the less energy-intensive proof of stake consensus mechanism. So people are curious about it. They want to know when this is happening. It's been a long time coming. There's a lot of curiosity, and people are out there hammering those search terms into Google to learn more. So I'm going to toss this straight to Christy. I know this is something we've been watching for a long time. A lot of great reporting that you guys have been doing over on the tech and research end of things as it relates to the merge. First of all, just level set. What is the latest state of the upcoming merge?
It's all good. It's all good. There's been test nets coming out that are actually mining valid blocks now, like with actual transactions in them. And everything seems to be going swimmingly, which is exactly what we want to hear. The latest Ice Age freezing, that's when all the proof of work is going to freeze and it's going to stop and miners aren't going to be able to mine any more Ethereum blocks. That is still, I believe, set for June. That's when we are going to see this transition from proof of work to proof of stake. It's been called Ethereum versus Ethereum 2, but it's all Ethereum. Keep that in mind. This is all going to be the same blockchain. There will be no new tokens issued. Nothing is really new apart from the consensus mechanism. I mean, there are lots of little techie things that are going on, but it is still going to be Ethereum. And it's going to be a big deal when it happens. There's all kinds of validators that have funds locked up. There's a lot of value locked in the Ethereum beacon chain at the moment, and all of that will eventually become liquid. And that, I think, is part of it. I think possibly the fact that we have a rising tide at the moment, floating all the boats when it comes to price. I think that is also still a factor in there. But yeah, I think people are actually feeling pretty optimistic that it is going to happen, and it's going to happen probably in June.
When I think about people searching when it's going to happen, Zach, I thought back to when you and Will were at ETH Denver, and you were talking about NFTs being the entry point for a lot of people when it comes to crypto. NFTs are fun. They're maybe a little bit easier to understand, and they come with this built-in community. So I think about people searching. I think about this mass mainstream audience that have come to NFTs. They've started paying more attention to the climate headlines. They've seen gas fees go up and down, and they're wondering what this merge could mean for them. And Christy, I think you did a really great job at outlining that maybe it's not going to solve all of the problems that people are experiencing on Ethereum, but giving the mass adoption of and interest in NFTs, it wasn't surprising to me to see that people are just, keyboard warrioring, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I think that the whole thing, honestly, is pretty fascinating. We don't really talk about it too much, but one of the most important parts about this is that this is a huge transition for Ethereum. Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency out there as far as its kind of native token, not even including all of the many, many hundreds of thousands of tokens that are created on top of it. And if they're successful in actually pulling off this flip from proof of work to proof of stake, then I think, honestly, the thing that I'm going to be most interested in is what happens to all of the kind of also-rans on the sort of Ethereum proof of stake side, the Solanas of the world, the Avalanches of the world, the people whose real kind of reason to exist is that they've solved a lot of the scaling problems that Ethereum, being an early proof of work chain, really, kind of struggled with. This move to proof of stake, if it does go smoothly, and if we don't wind up with two blockchains, which does seem like it's a possibility, that's going to dramatically decrease kind of the cost of using the blockchain, and everybody wants to be on Ethereum. It's really just a question of, are you willing to pay the right now quite expensive fees in order to do that?
The thing is, though, that you got to keep in mind is those fees are not going anywhere anytime soon. And when it comes to scaling, yes, it will improve scaling possibilities, but a lot of those still have to be worked in. Sharding isn't ready yet, for example. Rollups aren't ready yet. Like, everything still has to be programmed in, and that's going to still take some time. And anybody who thinks that the fees are going to suddenly go down, I think they're going to be a little disappointed, because a lot of this stuff still has to be worked out. And just to give a little plug, if you would like to follow along, besides CoinDesk, there's also our Valid Points newsletter, and we update on all kinds of stuff every Tuesday that comes out, or Wednesday morning. So you can subscribe to that and get more information. Jen, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, I actually have a question for you, Adam, because I've asked this on the show before and no one had a good answer, and you kind of just brought it up. So I wonder if you have an opinion on this. And the question I asked on the show was, with this upcoming merge, is this bad news for the chains that are the Ethereum killers? And we've seen a lot of brand partnerships, a lot of money go into partnerships with some of these other chains. What do you think is going to happen, if anything, if this works out in a timely manner?
I mean, it really does get back to the point that that Christy brought up, which is, what does this do to fees, right? If the proof of stake kind of move goes successfully, but it doesn't substantially decrease fees, then probably nothing really changes. But proof of stake is an inherently kind of more efficient, because you're not having to do computational work for kind of every block that's going out there. So capacity should increase even without those new technologies, at least under some metrics. So I'm curious to see what happens, but I think that it all comes down to that. Is this more expensive, right? If it's more expensive, then there will be a space for cheaper options. But if Ethereum gets cheap, and especially as Ethereum continues to scale, I think that, again, some of that gets a lot more difficult as a case to make. So actually, I have the... no, go ahead.
I got to just throw in on the fees note. It looks like the exploiter of Ronin paid a mere $67 to steal 176,000 ETH. So let's not dunk on fees just yet. Anyway.